Mary Charles is one of the most fascinating people I have ever had the pleasure of knowing. You are going to hear an amazing story. She's a landscape architect and founder of the Georgia High-Low Trail Initiative that she launched in 2019. After 4 years of being frustrated with the lack of safe cycling and economic opportunities in her hometown of Sandersville, Mary Charles decided to act. Upon completion, the Georgia High-Low Trail will be the longest paved trail in all of America. She did that. All right, so she's going to be providing safe cycling opportunities for others. And each year she organizes an annual Athens to Savannah ride, riding her bicycle 285 miles over 4 days. That's crazy. That's crazy cool, but it's crazy. And there's 100 people that do it with you. Awesome. So as a part of her nonprofit, she also launched Kids Bike League, teaching kids in rural Georgia how to ride bikes and creating mountain bike trails in small towns to give safe roads, separated spaces for those kids to ride. Safe space away from the road for the kids to ride. Mary Charles will help us discover our why. We'll practice internal fact checking in our why, so we stop second guessing ourselves and get moving with our big audacious dreams.
Thanks. She knows me. She's setting a timer. I could talk to a concrete wall. Y'all are in trouble.
It won't work.
Oh, it won't work. Okay. Who's cooking supper? I am starting my timer. Okay. I cannot take credit for all of that Morgan just said, because there's a lady in the room, Dana Walton. Raise your hand, Miss Dana Walton. Woohoo! Dana rode her bike with me on the Athens to Savannah ride this last year. And back in, was it 2021? Was that the first year you did it? But Dana rides her bike circles around me. She's a pro cyclist and she helped us train, and Dana's going 18 miles an hour and I'm back there going 8 miles an hour. But we all made it to the same destination. It was fine.
And we could do that because you set up the ride. I was only there because you set it up.
Thank you, Dana. Well, Dana also is going to start helping us with Kids Bike League, and I'll tell y'all more about this, but Kids Bike League, we teach kids how to ride bikes, but it's more about setting up space so kids can ride bikes, because if y'all remember, when we were little, we used to ride our bikes on the road. But now with cell phones, we just can't send our kids out there to do that anymore. So we're creating mountain bike trails, but we just got a grant for a program to teach kids in middle school, specifically in Sparta, Georgia, which is the second poorest county in the state of Georgia. We're going to be taking mountain biking into their middle school, and Dana's leading that up this spring. So it's great. And then, of course, a shout out to Amy Whipple. How we met was bicycling as well. Amy tracked me down somehow when I used to run it was Athens food tours, and then I started some bicycle farm tours, which other people have been on. And we would ride our bikes from farm to farm, and I'd collect food at the farms, and we'd eat a meal at the end. But Amy was like, "You need help, girl. She's known me for you need help. I need help in many ways." But she would volunteer. And so that's how Amy and I met, and she re-entered my life about a year ago with the Rise and Shine Mastermind group, and I'm so thankful. So thank you. Okay, so what I'm helping us with today is fact-checking our why. So, fact-checking's been in the news a lot lately. We got to fact-check, but do we ever fact-check ourselves? Why are we spending our time on this thing? And why is it important to know why we're spending our time? Listen, we only get 4,000 weeks of life if we're lucky. Let's break it down into 4,000 weeks. That's if you're going to live to be 80, okay? So let's spend our time wisely. We're halfway there. Might already be past halfway there, let's do this thing in a really smart way so that we can say to ourselves, you know what? I think Mary Oliver said it best. What will you do with your one wild and beautiful life? I love that quote. We read that at my grandmother's funeral this past year when she died at 102. She would have been 103. She would have been, and I work on her desk, and I'm reminded, like, she was a great woman, and I want to be able to say at my 103rd birthday that I was a great woman as well, because you know what? We were given this life to be good stewards of it. We've got to make the best of our time. We've got to know what our why is. Okay. So what's the problem? Like, why aren't we living to the best of our potential right now if we aren't? Not saying you aren't. But if you look within, when you're asking yourself that why, do you get nervous that people are going to judge you? Like, do you have a big dream? Like, what's your crazy dream? Hope. Just, like, put down all those fences. You know, what are you thinking? Like, I have a dream. I want to go to Italy with my family for a whole summer. I actually would like to do that. But we can't do that because, don't do that, but just say, I want to go to Italy for the summer with my family. And then put down what your tasks are to make that happen. All right, so let's see. The percentages of people who actually achieve their dreams, 8%. What are the other 92% of people doing? What are we doing? Yeah, we're doing social media. We're trying to get our posts perfect. Not perfect. So, all right, let's see. I actually am going to bring up an image here, and I know this is cheating, but people in my church do it. We don't have a preacher right now, and so, like, whoever gets called on to preach has to preach. And so people use their phones a lot, and I'm okay with that. All right, so I was researching, like, this, like, who's achieving their dreams, and I found this hospice website. It was one of the first thing that pops up. And they said that they interviewed people in the nursing home. And what was their number one regret? Their number one regret was, and I'm reading from the phone like a preacher, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not a life others expected of me. This was the most common regret of all. When people realize that their life is almost over and they look back clearly on it, it's easy to see how many dreams have gone unfulfilled. So what's your dream? Write it down, okay? So again, how do you get a dream done? Okay, we're gonna break it down into goals. That 8% of people achieving a dream, they've broken it down into goals. All right, so take your workbook out. You'll see my page, it's pretty empty. Welcome, my name's Mary Charles. I wait till the last minute to do a lot of stuff. Amy knew that about me, and she just made my page for me. She was like, girl, it actually works for our study here, okay? It works. So we are going to fact check our why. So think about a dream. It could be a business dream. It could be like, I want to start a business that's this. Or I have a dream, it could be personal. I want to go to Italy for the summer with my people. It could be like, I want to escape from my children. Let's not lie, it's true sometimes. Morgan, didn't you lock yourself in the closet last night? She did. All right, so you've all got your sheets of paper out right now while I was mumbling. And now we're gonna start with that dream you have in mind. So I'm doing my speech in a different format. We're gonna do our little break right now, and that way you have to do it because it's in the middle of the speech and you're acting like you're paying attention. So what's your dream? All right. Why is that your dream? You're going to ask yourself, so write your dream at the top. Write that dream down. Then, on the next line, put why. And then answer, why is that my dream? Okay? And then you can spend more time on this later. I encourage you to. All right, once you've got that first why down, so you've got a dream, and you've got a why this is my dream. Answer that why. I'll take a break. This might be a little abstract. I think I was supposed to give you an example, so I'm going to give you an example. This will give y'all some extra time here. All right, take a break. So my goal was to build the longest paved trail in the United States. Why? Why would anybody make that their goal? That's stupid. Okay, well, meet me. Here I am. And I was like, well, what am I going to have to do to make that possible? You got to break it down into goals. Okay, well, first, who's going to ever let you across their property to build a trail? So you got to make friends with a lot of communities. We're going through 8 counties. So I got to make friends with the county commissioners and the city council people and the people that live there and their children and their children. Like, got to make friends. And then I'm listing all these things. But when you get down to it, there's so much that has to happen. And then in the end, I'm over here an unpaid nonprofit leader. So it got down to the nitty-gritty bottom of it. My goal for 2024, I'm stating it, is I will be paid to do this. I've been working on it for 5 years, I hadn't been paid. My goal for 2024 is I will make the Georgia High-Low Trail my full-time income at $65,000. Is that too much? Is that not enough? Because I can put 100 on there and just got to get my board to vote on it. Okay, but you get it. So I'm claiming that my goal is I'm going to make this my full-time job in 2024 at $65,000. Make it specific, okay? Make it bound by time. So this year, I will be paid this amount in my full-time job. All right, so that's my first why. Now ask yourself, why is that your goal? All right, so my answer is because I've got to streamline my focus so I don't lose my mind. What you guys don't know is I've been running 2 businesses. I've been running my own landscape architecture business, and I started this nonprofit 5 years ago because the nonprofit wasn't paying me squat. So I had to keep my landscape architecture business going. And I have, that's too much. So why? I have to streamline work focus so I don't lose my mind. That is the answer to my first why. Okay, ask yourself why again. So you said what your goal is, and you said why. So ask yourself, why is that why up there on that first line? So example, well, why would I have to streamline my work focus? So I can make progress on my goals. So ask yourself why again and keep going down. So I'm just going to finish my whys and then let y'all work on that. So my second why was why do I need to streamline my focus so I don't lose my mind? Well, also, we don't have money to pay for a mental institution, but it was more like make progress on your goals. Because if you're ever going to get this thing done, you're going to need to make progress so you'll see it before you die. Well, why? Why do you even need to do that? So I can achieve financial freedom. Then you ask yourself why again. So you're asking yourself why 5 times. So you can dig down to the reason in your heart that you are spending your precious time on this. All right, so I keep going so I can spend more time with me and my family. Well, why do you want to do that? And this is my last why. Because even though I do like to lock myself in the closet also sometimes, you only get 18 summers with your children. And by the time they're 12, you've spent 75% of the time you're going to get with them, you've spent it by the time they're 12. That was my last why. And then you just cry, and then you're like, that's it. That's why I'm doing this, right? That's why I need the Georgia High-Low Trail to be my full-time income. You get it. You know in your heart that's why you're doing this, right? Okay? And if you need more whys, you just keep going. You keep going. Okay. All right. Y'all can keep doing your practice if you want, but I've been warned on time, so I'm going to keep going. All right. So I have to get back on track. All right, I'm going to break for a little story. When I was little, my dad would come into the house and he would say, like it would be a Saturday morning, we'd been playing Nintendo, like the first Nintendo ever, where you blew in it. And like 2-3 hours. And then Dad'd be like, y'all get outside, it's a beautiful day. You are wasting your life away. Get outside. He'd turn it off. We had already eaten our strawberry toaster strudels by that time. And we would go outside and play. And you were resentful, tying your shoes to get out there. But after 30 minutes, it was pretty awesome. And then come inside for lunch. No, we don't want to come inside. Mom said as long as she could yell out the door and she could hear our voices yell back, it was fine. We lived on a 500-acre farm, and the acoustics were pretty good. So, you just had to know the acoustics that day so you didn't get in trouble, right? So you just want to go play outside. That was what Dad said. There was magic outside or something. Okay, well, what does this have to do with us reaching our dreams and our goals? All of us are going to have a hard time. Have y'all heard of the rule of thirds? So the rule of thirds is you're going to have these thirds in your life every single day. You're going to have good days, or like within your day, you're going to have some good moments, you're going to have some okay moments, and you're going to have some crappy moments. And if it's out of whack, like if you're just having an amazing day in every single way, it's kind of, that's not quite your normal. If you're having a really bad day in every single way, that's not it, but it's a rule of thirds. So if you're having a hard time with these goals, I encourage you to go outside and go for a walk, okay? I want you to take a 1-hour walk for yourself every day. 1 hour? I don't have 1 hour. I gotta get things done. Do you have to walk your dog? Do you need to call your therapist? Do you need to have some exercise? You can do it all in a 1-hour walk. Nature is free therapy. It's free. If you run a nonprofit, free therapy. You can get fresh air and sunshine that's been proven to help you with productivity. So if you're worried you're losing work time, you're actually increasing work time if you go take your 1-hour walk. I encourage you for the first 30 minutes, don't think about anything. Don't. Just let your mind be free. Bring a problem with you into the woods. Take one problem. And then on that second 30 minutes, work through that problem. Okay? That works wonders for me, and I really encourage y'all to do that. And then don't second guess yourself, okay? I've got my last story for y'all. So on one of those times when I went outside, it was the Saturday that my oldest sister was getting married, and there was a wedding party. And we really needed to look nice that night, and I did not want to go to that wedding party. So I encouraged my other sister to go play in a mud pit with me. And I had white blonde hair, and we scrubbed red dirt into our hair, hoping that Mom would not make us go to the party if we looked filthy. It didn't work. And I just had to go to the party with like pink hair because my hair got dyed by the red mud. So like in that moment, yes, I was enjoying nature. Yes, I was being free. Yeah, but I also did not care what anybody thought of me. And that was true to myself. I look back at that moment, and some people might be like, I was a stupid kid. That was me, tried and true at 8 years old. And I'm still that person, okay? Nobody's gonna tell me that that was wrong. And I want y'all to be confident in yourself. I was afraid everybody was gonna think the Georgia High-Low Trail was the, go put me in the hospital. Because my dad had just died, and I was kind of having a problem with processing that, and my answer to it was start a huge dream that I had been putting on the back burner. So don't let people tell you that you can't do this. And if they're telling you that, they're not on your team. You might need to reconsider them going outside or going way up in the stands. All right. I want to leave y'all with one thing that has been really helpful for me this year. It's a book called Clockwork. So it's by Mike Michalowicz. Just Google Clockwork, the book. It helps you sort of understand a lot of what I've gone through today. It helps you be more diligent in a lot of things we've talked about. And then I'll leave you with one poem by Mary Oliver, okay? Again, reading from my preacher phone. If anybody wants to come to our church and be our preacher, we live in Sandersville, Georgia. Come on down. So the poem is, When I Am Among the Trees. I heard this on Instagram yesterday. It was Mary Oliver reading it, and I listened to it 10 times. And you might want to go listen to her read it. So when I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oaks, and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say they save me, and daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself in which I have goodness and discernment. I never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. I read that wrong. The trees never hurry through the world. They walk slowly and they bow often. Around me, the trees stir in their leaves and call out, stay a while. The light flows from their branches and they call again. It's simple, they say. And you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine. Thank y'all.